make no apologies for producing yet another video on the small egg, because this is the real big success story of 2025, certainly regarding moths, unless something happens on the migration front. But of resident species, for a species that has declined over many years, to suddenly explode and almost appear as though it's repopulating a county. And it's certainly done that in the eastern part of Nottinghamshire. We've expanded the range of this species, well, enormously. And it's now found, at least in 2025, in areas where it's never been recorded. I've seen a good number of these caterpillars and their associated larval webs over the last sort of 10 days to a fortnight. The most remarkable event regarding any moth, certainly that I think we'll have in Nottinghamshire this year, but this appears to be a more national rise in fortunes for what has been a very rare moth, and a moth which has got increasingly rare over the last sort of 10, 15, 20 so years. This year it's gone balmy for some reason. I have a sneaky feeling that it's the overall colder winter that we've had. That sort of put an end to a run of mild winters, and plus the fact that these can spend up to about 7 years, I believe, in the pupal stage. Something has happened to trigger a really good season for these, and these are the largest caterpillars that I've found. I'm at Bevercoats Pit Wood. I saw on Facebook yesterday that some had been found here, and these, well, as you can see right at the side of the track, everybody that visits this site will walk past these, and hopefully they will get left alone. They are the most beautiful caterpillar. I love that sort of chocolatey brown on the upper side of the larva. Each of the sections of the caterpillar are edged in cream, but then there's those patches of those sort of russet brown hairs on a pretty much a black background. But there's a real charm to these that I've not seen on other caterpillars, and we may well be able to just about make it out that the prolegs are red in small eggar caterpillars. That's the rear legs, the suckers that this caterpillar clings to. One caterpillar you can see has gone into the tent, at the bottom of the tent. But what absolute beauties. Fabulous thing. Still a very rare moth. I have a sneaky feeling that it's going to go back to being rare. With such a large number of these, there's bound to be a large amount of parasitisation. Good food for cuckoos, these. So maybe cuckoos might do quite well in 2025. But it has been the most magnificent success story. I know there are few that don't like the word success in this day and age and pour scorn on it, but this really is a success. Long term or short term, this is something that nobody ever saw coming. Absolutely fabulous. The webs, when they get to this stage, and for perhaps a week before, they become heavy. They become heavy with the caterpillars, and they become heavy with the droppings from the caterpillar, so they tend to sag and they become almost like a bag, to be honest. And if you're driving along, you can easily mistake one of these webs for being an item of rubbish that's been thrown out of a car, got tangled up in the branch, filled with water, and then just hangs down. And I have just found another larval web outside the village of Grove near Retford. How many more remain undiscovered? But I've put a lot of work in, along with a number of other people looking for these. A lot of miles travelling along country lanes looking for likely habitat, stopping to get out of the car, having a look, walk along the road and back. But quite often I see these as I'm driving along. They're very, very obvious, and the webs are always really white like this. It's been an absolute joy recording these. I've still not finished yet, but this may well be the last video on small eggers. But for me, this, as I mentioned, this is the moth success story of 2025, and we need success stories. But I have a feeling that as suddenly as these have appeared in a whole range of new sites, every site this year has been new to the species that we've recorded in Nottinghamshire. We've really changed the distribution map. And yet Sutton-on-Trent, where they only used to be for a number of years, not a caterpillar. So if you like your moths and you like your eggers, this is the year to go looking for the larval web of the small egger. It's an absolute treat, and your county recorder will love you forever producing a record or two. And you can see lower left of the screen there's a number of these charming caterpillars inside. In fact, someone asked us the other day actually, and the answer is in shot now. Do the caterpillars have an entrance hole? Well, they have several entrance holes. There's the obvious one that you can see, but there's also one below it, and there's one on the other side. As well as being fantastically coloured, the caterpillars are adorned with very fine, pale, long hairs. Another one going in to the web. They spend long periods sort of basking. We've had no sun though, so they're hardly basking, but they do like to rest on the outside of the web. But these are way in advance of any others that I've seen over the last few days. This proves that there's been sort of 3 ages to these. And this is the oldest sort of group. It's the only larval web with these caterpillars in of this age. The rest have all been sort of 3rd to 4th instar, and then 2nd to 3rd instar. There's 3 different age ranges of larvae with these. What super things, and what a brilliant success story small egger is in 2025. I make no apologies for doing yet another video on the small egger, but you have to realise how important finding any larval web of this moth would be in a normal year. 2025, however, is far from being that normal year. 2025 has seen the small egger explode in its range across Nottinghamshire and other parts of the UK too. This is not a localised event. Through a lot of surveying, a lot of driving around looking for these heavy webs, being able to expand this moth's range in Nottinghamshire. But will it be a long-lived thing? I don't think so. I think that this may well have nearly died out again within a couple of years. I hope I'm wrong, but either way, it's provided a fantastic success story for this year.